it, the sort of Angela Rayner argument, believe me, I'm very cautious about ever citing or quoting Angela Rayner, but for the purposes of this, the evidence is, well, you know, it's the 21st century, we can do stuff now. If it gives you a better work-life balance, it's better for your mental health, you're not paying gazillion pounds worth of train fares and all the rest of it. What's not to like?
Yeah, for the individual, but for the country, I mean, our productivity has been nosediving for a long time, hasn't it, as in the country? And I think, if anything, it demonstrates that the trade unions are not only in charge of Britain and the British government and the Labour Party. It feels like that they're holding a big sign up saying that Britain's closed for business, because look at the other things. It's not only the working from home where you don't get to sort of share the experience of older people in the team with younger people and have a succession plan. It's the issue where look about the probationary periods, how they're going to be doing away with that. You can get sickness from day one. We are seriously closed for business under Labour, and why would anybody set up a business and invest under Labour? It's crazy. It
does seem rather curious, and, you know, again, I'm not usually one to throw compliments towards the French or the Germans without good reason, but they don't seem to be quite as obsessed with this as we are.
No, I completely agree, and I do shudder to think what's going to happen not only to our economy but to people's lives over the next 5 years. And I mean, the woke ideology anyway in the within the whole public sector is going to be on steroids under Labour, isn't it? And what people get taught, children get taught in schools, and I just think we are so desperately need a strong government. Like reform, really. I think we need to kick that door down of common sense. I mean, you're the channel of common sense, but I think we need it in politics, don't you, Ian?
No, absolutely right. I mean, this is where these kind of conversations can be discussed, and we can get these messages out there, Andrew. I mean, I mentioned at the beginning you've defected to Reform UK. Do you sense, and you just touched on it there, that common sense thing is the bit, much like in Trump's America, you know, he literally used the phrase himself, you know, I just speak common sense. And I think he also said, I speak your language. That's the bit that's kind of been missing from our politics.
Oh, completely. I mean, all my mini manifestos from being an MP, I'd always say about common sense. But I think the British people want fairness, Ian, as well. I mean, if I can just go on a stat, in Boston, in Lincolnshire, a quarter of social housing goes to people not even born in this country. And yet you see people, I saw as an MP, people waiting 8 years with young families trying to get a house. And as Brits, we're charitable, but we like fairness as well. We want fairness for our own people. And it just feels sometimes that we're back of the queue. And that's really got to change.
I noticed as well, we touched on it earlier, that Reform are going to be having the biggest political rally in history, it's being called, in March. This is, of course, to really give the big build-up for the local elections, where Reform are hoping to do rather well. Obviously, as a party, as a new party, they want to raise money as well. But, I mean, this is a...
Would you believe me if I told you that coffee could be one of the healthiest things in our diets? But the problem is...
Oh, completely. You ought to come along to it, Ian. It's going to be amazing. I mean,
it might cost me 25,000 quid, Andrea. So if can I be your plus one?
Oh, I'll have to see about that. I mean, I'm making a speech, and it's really to launch our local election campaign and the mayoral campaigns, of which one of them's mine too. And this is going to be an important election, because I think it puts our stake in the ground to show really that, you know, we are ready for government, and especially the mayoral positions like mine. If we get elected, this can be a blueprint of what we can do in government. So it's going to be very important for me.
Indeed. Well, we'll let you take a seat now on that train, Andrea. Thank you for joining us this afternoon, Andrea.